Welcome to Laddish Technology, and today I'm going to show you how to downgrade your iPad from iOS 11. So we won't be needing a camera because I sort of need to use the computer. So I have today here the iPad Air first generation, which is running iOS 11 beta 5. So what you're going to do is you're going to open up iTunes on your computer. Now, if you want to, obviously, you can restore.
Speech off. 10% left. Close. Button. Speech off.
You can restore if you want. The other option is to do the way that I've done it here, and you can use a website that is IPSW.me, so that will downgrade your iOS device using an official IPSW file as long as it's signed by Apple. Now, make sure your IPSW is signed, because you can get all IPSWs for a specific device, such as iOS 10.1 if you wanted to, 10.2, anything. So unless you've got SSH blobs, just make sure you're going back to something that's being signed. And I'm going to just jump into this. So first what you want to do is, like I said, launch up iTunes. Now it's www.ipsw.me, and I'll put that in the description. So you want to launch up iTunes, and you want to go over to your iDevice. So this works for iPhone and that, but don't do it on the iPhone 7 because it's for some reason broken. Don't know about the 6S, but I did it on the 6 today and it works fine. So what you want to do is just go over here to your iDevice, and you want to click on check for updates. I'm going to do Shift and Enter on Windows, and so we're going to do Shift and Enter here. And we're going to just go over here. This is a Windows 10 computer with Lenovo's USB 3.0, so hopefully it's nice and fast. But you want to go back, and you want to go into wherever you save this. So if you save it in documents, then you save it in documents. But I've got my file in downloads, and we're not going back to the latest. We're going back to 10.3.2, which is the latest I have on here, because it's still being signed, so I didn't need a newer IPSW.
iPhone 710, iPad 64-bit 10,
So we're going to go
iPhone 4, iPad 64-bit Touch ID 1, iPad
standard here, iPad, and we're going to click update. It just says iTunes will update your iPad to iOS 10.3.2, so I'm going to click update.
iTunes.
Now if you want to downgrade from iOS 10.3.3 to 10.3.2 because of the rumoured exploits for the jailbreak, then you're going to follow the same procedure. You're just going to click on this and click on the file if you've got it. Check for update won't work unless you've got a file. So you've literally got to have the file anyway, and then you can downgrade. At the minute it just says extracting software, so I'll come back when the extracting software part is done. So we're back, and we've been asked for the passcode for the iPad, which means after that the downgrade will complete. So I've just entered the passcode here, and it now says prepare an iPad for software update. Because of the way we're downgrading the iPad, it's obviously tricked into thinking that it's updating, but effectively it's not updating, of course. But the iOS device thinks it's updating, and you can hear your PC. Hold on. There you go. So if like me you're on Windows or PC and that, you're going to hear that sound a few times because it's just rebooting and stuff like that, so it can install the OS. So this is basically going from iOS 10 to iOS 11 to 10. This will take all different amounts of times. I'd say about 5-10 minutes. So after that it's going to boot up, and it's going to ask you for your passcode. You may have to wait a while because you may get an apple with a bar, but it's going to ask for your passcode, and you're just going to have to enter your Apple ID password, and it will say update in iCloud settings. You just go through the little setup that it's asking you to do there, and when you've gone through the setup it will probably say iPad Analytics, but I'll come back for that anyway. But it will probably say Analytics, but it's going to just downgrade your device now, and you might see a few reboots and progress bars and stuff like that, but it's nothing to worry about really. As long as everything goes smooth, you know, the downgrade will just carry on, and when that downgrade's done, all you do is you just do the setup, which I'll be back anyway, so I'll show you how the setup's going to look. But yeah, the downgrade is a pretty simple process. It should be sort of in the process now. Let's just turn on
Speech mode.
that again.
Next button. Updating iPad software.
Updating iPad software, so it says updating, obviously it's downgrading in this case, but similar to the way you'd update with iTunes, if you get what I mean. You know when you check for a software update and you do the update, sort of similar to that. So it's sort of an easy process to do, and it's going to work. You just got to have patience and that. But yeah, so we'll see, and I'll be back to show you the setup. Like I said, don't worry if you see some reboots here, don't worry if you see some sort of different Apple logos with bars going around, or your computer comes up with a few different things and it keeps disconnecting. You hear the disconnecting sound. It's nothing to worry about. It'll reconnect and everything, and I'll come back just before it starts up just to show you what's going on. So you might get the bar. So the iPad's been updated. It says here your iPad has been updated and is restarting. Please leave the iPad connected. This message, it will appear in the iTunes window. It will dismiss in 10 seconds. We can just see there the message is just gone, and the iPad should be back on iOS 10. The main reason for the downgrade is the iPad Air 1 on iOS 11 is not too good, you know. So we'll have to downgrade it when it comes on. Disconnected. So I might have an Apple, but still reconnected. Still connecting. But there we go. So you can't really. So it's sort of back on. So you're just going to click continue. Or cancel if you don't want it to have any thingy access to any information, but you're just going to click continue, or that's what I've done. So we'll see what happens from here. Hopefully it works now. The iPad should be due to boot up now. You might lose something, like you probably lose all your text messages. That's what happens to me. See what's going on here.
iTunes list. Play button. Next. Search music button. Library. For you. Browse radio. Store. Library sidebar preview.
And straight away it's not showing up here yet. So we'll have to wait. Looks like it seems to not be ready to use, but let's just see. Let's just reboot it quick. Sometimes you might have to force the actual iPad to reboot. So sometimes I've had to do that, but hopefully you won't have to. Just wait for it to boot up.
iTunes dialog. Do you want to allow this computer to access information on Downgrade? Cancel button. Continue button. Alt plus C. New notes. Space. Press. iTunes dialog.
Just click continue. Yeah. The internet's fine. So we click continue, and we've just got this Apple here, which has a bar, and after this Apple it's going to reboot again, or sort of reboot. Hopefully it's a smooth process, but it's just gonna, now the iPad's on, we've just got this Apple with the bar. Now my advice is, when you see this, just leave it connected to iTunes, and it will do what it needs to do. Okay, so we're waiting here. We're just still waiting. Still waiting. And the computer's still here. So let's just see. We don't have the iPad here again because it's rebooting. Hopefully it should be done soon. So you're going to see this a lot. Sort of progress bar, rebooting thing. Sometimes anyway, I've seen it on a few downgrades. You've just got to sort of leave it to do whatever it does.
Press home to upgrade. Button. Press home to upgrade.
So you will need your passcode. Hopefully,
5, 4,
in most cases, your passcode will be done quicker than this, but my iPad's just being very
0,
typical iPad-y because we need to do this.
2, 1.
Now, as soon as you unlock it, that's when you're going to get this Apple again with the bar. You might not even get it on the lock screen, but for some reason, I had this Apple thing just then, and I'm still back in the same interface. But you might have to, you'll probably be able to unlock straight away. Now, this shouldn't take too long. It's just like a little progress bar here. Apple with a white background. Shouldn't take too long. 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 But we're still waiting. Okay. Just go over to here.
Library sidebar preview.
You can just bring up some iTunes library, and you can now shut iTunes.
Page 216. That's been on. Recycle the selected 1 values enter.
Okay.
Cancel. 0.
So you can shut iTunes, and
0. Enter password. 1.
we're into the iPad here, so we've got the setup screen.
Trust button. Trust. FaceTime. Calendar.
Okay, we didn't get a setup screen. So it looks like the iPad might have done most of the setup here. Sometimes you will have to do the setup yourself. Just to confirm that it's iOS 10.3.2 14F89. You can then disconnect from the computer. So this iPad should be working a lot better now. And it wants me to update Apple ID settings, so it hasn't asked me to do it, but it's expecting me to do it now. So let's just end that here. So that's how you downgrade. Okay, there's a chance you'll lose contacts, some apps that you've downloaded since you've been on iOS 11, text messages I've lost most of the time. I didn't normally lose my contacts, but just use an app called My Contacts Backup. I'll put a link for that in the description to go straight to the App Store. And yeah, so hopefully you're downgraded and everything's working fine now. If you have any questions, then just let me know and we'll get you downgraded. Me or Connor will probably help. So if you have any questions, like I said, just let us know and I'll see you in the next one.